The great Persian poet Rumi once said, "Greed makes man blind and foolish, and makes him an easy prey for death." I'm sure you're aware that greed is a curse. I mean, you're constantly being taught that greed is a grave sin, and it truly is. But why is it that you still fall into the hands of greed almost every single day? In life, countless of things can make you feel greedy. Money, success, fame, ambition. But what if I told you that the things you're greedy about, the things that make you selfish, are simply not worth what you're about to sacrifice for? Don't believe me? Well, you want to stay until the end of today's story to find out. This is the story of 3 friends who, blinded by greed, lost everything within a blink of an eye. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories that will keep you growing and inspire you to take action. The story begins with 3 good friends, John, Simon, and Donald. The 3 are childhood friends, and they had been living together in a very small and poor village for decades. At the time, news about a hidden treasure within the forest had spread. These 3 friends, all struggling to make ends meet, decided to find the treasure together. After all, 3 heads are better than 1, right? So one day, they decided to venture out deep into the forest. They walked several miles, but nothing. They were ready to give up. But as the 3 were talking amongst themselves, wondering where the treasure could be, John had suddenly lost his balance after stepping on something hard and bumpy. "Hey guys," he said, "I think there's something under here." After hearing this, Simon and Donald hurriedly began to dig through the soil. After several minutes of digging and about an inch of soil later, we found it. The 3 friends had finally struck gold. They were all met with a sense of relief. Finally, they thought, a solution to our problems. Underneath the soil was a big treasure box, adorned in many jewels and crystals. They spent no time opening the box, and to their surprise, blocks of gold and several gold coins were inside. "Come on now, let's split the gold," Simon yells in excitement, eager to get his hands on the money. But John hurriedly shut the box. "No, let's not do it out here. Someone might spot us." "John's right," Donald intervened. "How about we bring it to my house?" "Sounds like a plan." And so, the 3 friends decided to take the treasure back to Donald's house because it was the closest. Once they arrived at Donald's house, Donald suggested to his pals, "Let's take the treasure to the attic and open it there. If we do it out in the open, there's a chance someone might walk in on us." The 2, blinded by the joy of finding the treasure, didn't really think much of Donald's comments and proceeded to carry the box up in the attic. Once they arrive in the attic, Simon turns to his friend and suddenly says, "Donald, John and I are really thirsty. I'm sure you are too. Could you perhaps bring us some drinks to celebrate?" Donald agreed and went down to get some drinks. When Simon noticed that Donald was away, he turns back to John and whispers his true intentions. What had really bothered him was that the gold had to be divided. "If we divide the gold into 3, it would just be too small for us," he tells John. "How about we do this? I spotted an ice pick and a knife at the corner of the attic. Let's get rid of Donald and take as much as we can." Now John was shocked. He couldn't believe it. But at the same time, he desperately needed the money. And so, John agreed. Sounds like a deal. At the kitchen, Donald had other plans. Donald wanted the money all to himself. He began to add small but deadly drops of poison into the champagne, stirring it to make sure the 2 wouldn't notice. After a few minutes, Donald went back up to the attic, placed the bottle and the glasses of wine by the table next to the stairs, only then to be stabbed on the back by John and Simon. "The treasure is ours," Simon rejoiced. But at a moment's notice, John quickly pushed Simon down the long stairs, and he landed hard on his head, inevitably killing him too. "They're both gone now," John said to himself. But blinded by the treasure in front of him, he didn't immediately feel the guilt of his sins. All he could think about was the many things that he can finally do with the gold. Tired of everything that had happened, John sat down next to the treasure chest. He grabbed the champagne that Donald had left, not knowing that the drink was poison. And in the end, John, the only survivor, had also died. No one was able to claim the wealth that lay within the treasure chest. There is no greater calamity than lavish desires. There is no greater guilt than discontentment. And there is no greater disaster than greed. I'm sure you know someone who's made a bad judgment before. Your subconsciousness influences that actions you take. But have you ever tried to rationalize a bad decision at the spur of the moment, only to find out that it was to satisfy your own greed? Yeah, I know. In your daily lives, you encounter people who are angry, deceitful, and only care about themselves. You lose your ability to live in harmony when there is a lot of anger, distrust, greed, and pettiness. You lose sight of true love. When greed takes over, people are willing to destroy relationships and replace them with materialistic things like money and wealth. Greed causes us to lose sight of what is most important, the most important priorities. Greed will drive you to take everything you can get, but at the end of the day, you'll be left with nothing. Greed is a bottomless pit which exhausts a person in an endless effort to satisfy the need without ever reaching satisfaction. Eric Fromm. Values such as love, compassion, mercy, and kindness vanish from the lives of the greedy. It would be wonderful if everyone could be selfless rather than selfish. What you sow is what you will get. And just as the wise Mahatma Gandhi once said, there is sufficiency in the world for man's need, but not for man's greed. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories on a consistent basis? Do me a favor and support the channel by sharing, commenting below, and please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest updates. Soon, you will be on your way to feeling